Hey, what's up, forum? It's Grill Hands, and I'm bringing you guys some Gears of War 3 TDM gameplay footage from the beta. I know it's been a little while since I posted up some Gears gameplay. What has been, I think it's been about a month. I will say when this game is finally released, I think it's being released September 20th. Whenever it's released, expect a lot more Gears gameplay. There's probably going to be a pretty big shift in terms of what I upload. That's not to say I'm not going to keep putting up Call of Duty gameplay footage. I've got so many games stocked up on my hard drive from COD 4 all the way up until Black Ops. So I'll be able to keep posting those games as well. But just expect some more Gears 3 footage when this game is finally released. I'm really looking forward to it, and I wasn't a huge fan of Gears 2 or Gears. Well, I like Gears 1, but Gears 2, I just didn't like the ending. I thought it was rather anticlimactic, and the worm level. I know they're trying to change the pacing so it doesn't all feel the same. That just didn't fit right for me. Yeah, really looking forward to this game, and for a lot of reasons. One of the things that I don't see the big industry doing very often, at least when it comes to consoles. For one, they delayed the game, which you know, if you want to delay your game to polish it, to fix it, if it's not up to your standards, then by all means, take whatever time you need to delay the game, if it's to fix it up and kind of hits a certain goal. The only time I think delays are problematic are in games like Daikatana. You guys might not know about that. It was released, I think, in 2000 or 2001. John Romero, the guy who helped build up Doom and id Software. He led that project, and it went through development hell. I think it was either 5 years or 7 years. It took a long time, and when it was finally released, it was horrible. The same could be said about Duke Nukem. That wasn't in development the entire time, but it was delayed forever, and the final product, it might have been fun for a lot of people, but it certainly wasn't. I wouldn't call it super high quality. What else? I'm kind of worried about Dead Island, the delays associated with that game. A lot of people might not know that that game has been in development for quite some time now, and it actually had a completely different direction, at least in terms of how the graphics engine worked and some gameplay elements as well. And that's changed up, so that's kind of give me a little pause for concern. I'll wait until the game's finally released, but that's another situation where a game was delayed, you didn't hear anything about it, and then it pops up again. So yeah, but in this case, they only delayed it a couple months, and I'm okay with that. The other thing they did that I'm glad is obviously they incorporated a beta, and that's actually a little bit of a risk. Most people say, hey, the beta, always incorporate a beta in any game, but I know plenty of people that discontinued their pre-order for Gears of War 3 after they played the beta. They just said it wasn't their cup of tea. They're not that interested. They're not going to be picking it up. So there is a little bit of a risk anytime you put out a beta. But I'm 100% behind it. If it means you've got that many more people testing it, finding potential problems, providing feedback, then hey, you go for it. And these are the kind of things that I look for, or at least I appreciate whenever they're making games like that. They're putting in the time to develop the game. They're letting the community work with it. They're fixing it based on feedback. I know one of the biggest problems with Gears 2 was the host advantage, so they're removing that by incorporating dedicated servers. So I love hearing stuff like that. One of the problems I have with the Call of Duty franchise is, and I really can't think you can fault Treyarch or Infinity Ward. I think this is more the publisher's fault, Activision. But they release a game every year. There's no delays. I've never heard of any delays. Every November there's a Call of Duty game, and there's not. I wouldn't say there's huge differences between each Call of Duty game. There are basic differences, but the core gameplay is relatively the same. And I've never seen a beta, and you can argue that any of the games could have used a beta. Oh, well, World at War had a beta. I'm sorry. Yeah, that had a beta, but I'm fairly certain every single one of these games could have used a beta. It's at least to get that many more people working on it. I know Battlefield 3 is going to do one as well, but I feel that's a little bit more of a PR stunt because it's being released like mid-September, early September, and the game's coming out late October. So there's not a whole lot you can do to fix the game in that short time frame. But at least they're doing a beta. But I really do like it, and I don't see big industries doing this or big companies doing it. I see a lot of small indie developers doing it. I love this kind of approach in which the gamers or just the general public have access to the game much earlier than they normally would. Minecraft is a wonderful example of this. I don't even think it's in beta yet. I haven't played the game in a while, but let me know if it's ever reached beta or if it's still in alpha. But that game has been in alpha for a long time now, and it's been open to the public for quite some time, and people have been putting in their input, making all these different mods, making all these just a lot of different things to make the game much better than it originally was. I think one of the biggest gripes with the game is there isn't really a general purpose. You can build a lot of things, but there isn't like a story or an overall goal. And I think Notch has been listening to the feedback and trying to incorporate that in there as well. Now imagine if he didn't do all this stuff. If he did maybe a small alpha, closed alpha, only he worked on it, or maybe a couple friends, did the beta for a short period of time and released it. I don't think the game would have been as well received. So I loved this type of model in which he has blogs and he communicates with the public with what he does for the game. Another game that I'm looking at, I think it's going to be released on PC and consoles. It's called Interstellar Marines. It's being built off of the Unity 3D game engine, but they're taking the same approach as well. It's a small developer from Denmark. They've got daily blogs over everything they're doing. You have access to the alpha. Forums gives you access to devs so you can communicate with them as well. I just really like that approach. It feels like it really seems like they're listening more to the community, and in turn they're making an overall better game. Because sometimes things that might work in their heads whenever the devs are playing it might not translate as well to the community. And when you have a chance to hear that community feedback early on, and you can make those changes much earlier in the development cycle, I think that equates to a much better game in the end. I'd like to see more companies do that as well. I think it's really awesome. But let me know what you guys think. And like always, take it easy.